We're in the preservation group, and we were looking at building heritage and kind of church heritage.
So Regional Park is this area, Snæfellsnes, and we're trying to build up for people to come back after they go and get some education, to have something to go back for.
Some of the main ideas with preservation are to remember one's history, remember the history of the town one grew up in or the area one grew up in, their region. And a lot of this has to do with identity. We were attempting to, through this preservation and protecting these buildings and these churches, connecting those buildings and these churches with contemporary culture, the generation that's living and growing up now, so that they can stay connected to their identity and history. So we came up with this idea of repurposing historical spaces.
Ownership and entrepreneurship were two of the biggest things that we faced while kind of trying to come up with this idea of repurposing things. And we found there was a lot, at least in Schalkwyk, there was a lot of houses that were being bought and they were being refurbished, but they were also totally vacant for most of the year or like all the time. They would prefer these historical spaces to be like restored rather than just like allowed to fall apart and be lost forever. Yeah. And the second problem was the youth or the people in general just will have to kind of take this up on their own with the repurposing. With cafes or movie theaters or something, we have to have people who want to start that or like build it. We came up with this idea of plaques and labeling it so people who are not so familiar with it kind of know like what this building is.
This building right here, it was once a movie theater, and then it was turned into a youth center, and now it's a volcano museum. And there was another building in another town that was an old fishing factory that was made into a theater. And so that just goes along with that whole idea of once these buildings are renovated, what do we do with them?
And I think the takeaway we all learned from this like project and interviewing people was kind of a focus on jobs. If we want to bring youth back to the Snæfellsnes area and just like people in general and kind of like foster like production and like social lives and everything, is to kind of create jobs here that will attract people.
Not, restaurants, because we have that.
Yeah.
We need something like more to do with the hospitals, but that kind of jobs.
Yeah.